And that's how you kind of sort of do that. God damn it. I'm kidding, man. Hey, welcome to one of my first episodes for music production. I'm DarkSock, and I am a music producer, and I do a lot of ghostwriting and stuff. And anyway, I set up a chart the other day over on Facebook, and the chart was very, very well received. Huge thanks to all you guys that actually really liked the chart and maybe even used the chart. And now keep in mind, this chart is a chart for kind of putting your kicks, snares, hats, your percussion a little bit better, crafting, and that's what the chart is for anyway. And so with this quick little tutorial, not really a quick tutorial, but well, maybe it will be quick, I don't know. But the idea here is to show you how to kind of EQ out using that chart in case some people were kind of confused about how the chart kind of works. And so I'm going to get on with this demonstration really quick for you guys. And I do hope that you would take the moment to go ahead and subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be releasing a lot of music production videos. Not just a few, no, a lot. All right, and we're just getting started here, and you'll see, you'll see. But let's get on with this, and I'll show you guys how to use this chart kind of in a basic way with Ableton. Okay, the frequency chart. Basically, this chart I made, and let's give a little explanation on this chart. Firstly, and it's a pretty straightforward chart as far as getting your kicks, snares, and hat frequencies to work with a little bit of bass frequencies, and I'm going to try and demonstrate how it can be used, and also maybe a little bit more into how to glue a complete kit together. So this is the chart, and it's free available. Download over on my website, darksock.com, and it's pretty sweet. A lot of good reviews for just this little piece here. Taken in positively, so for you guys who are looking for this wallpaper and stuff, link below on the YouTube channel. So anyways, let's get into explaining this thing. And on the left we have the deeper tones, which are the sub basses into the bass, and blurry. Now blurry is kind of a term I use. Another term for blurry in popular jargon would be called mud. And I don't like the idea of mud. Nobody really likes the idea of mud. But blurry is synonymous with mud. At any rate, and it's only because my perspective of there's no such thing really as mud per se. It's just blurry. And in electronic music, sometimes blurry is a good thing. Anyways, and then we got comfy human. This is like the human range where it's people are kind of okay. This is cool. It's not too sharp, not too low. And this is a good. This is where I'm going to pick up most of what I'm listening to within that range. And then we have the high tones and the hisses and everything. So that's from left to right. And then I demonstrate here the kick frequencies, and I'll show you how to cut these up, or how I cut them up in a demo track, just really quick, and the hat frequencies, etc., etc. So here's a quick little thingy I put together. Okay, and we're going to turn all the EQing off on this thing here first. All right, so let's turn off the. We're going to turn off the EQs. I should have turned them off before I started this, but that's okay. No big deal. We'll just go and turn off the EQ on everything, and that way we can see how we dodge and weave everything. Okay, and so here's what we're listening to without any EQing at all, and it's just really brief. It's just now I know what some of you might be thinking. Okay, I know what some of you might be thinking. YouTube is going to mangle this video. YouTube, what they do to audio in YouTube videos is very shameful. It's not really the best platform get that fidelity you're looking for in music. But this is for demonstrational purposes more or less. So I just want to add that there quick before some of you go, "What the hell, dude? Your shit sounds like shit." And well, 9 times out of 10 it does sound like shit. It's not perfect. And but again, YouTube is going to play a big factor in the final output of this thing, and I'm kind of dreading it because I'm kind of starting off this whole thing, and I want to use YouTube as one of my main channels so that I can demonstrate and do more tutorials for you guys down the road. So hopefully the audio will come in right now, and I'm recording the audio right now, and the bass audio at 320. So it's a pretty big deal. At any rate, let's get down into how I cut these things up, and we're going to solo the kicks really quick, and then I'll explain more or less what we did here. Okay, so this is without the EQ, and then we'll turn on the EQ that I did. Alright, turn it on. Now what I did here is, you'll notice I moved over to 63 hertz, and I started clipping it at around 63 hertz or so, because I didn't want to carry too much of a bottom end on it, and according to the chart, we're looking at cutting at around 50, 60, and again, you got to use your ears for this sort of thing. So I cut it at about right here. Right here. Now you could use a sharper cut too if you wanted to. For example, you can go to 4x, and you can check it out. So it actually sounds better without that sharpness. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to this, and I'm actually gonna move it over. We're gonna move it to about 50 and just trim down some of this sub a little bit. It's not like a massive trim, but if you go and use like the 4x, I mean that's a pretty hard trim, So we'll just go back to there. Now over here for the second little one, I have at 418 hertz, and on the chart you'll see for the kick, you can go up in 250, 300. This is just a chart, not all the time accurate, not all the time perfect. You gotta, really, really kind of trust your ears. But 250 to 300, we can actually bring some stuff up. I don't exactly choose to. I don't really want to. I mean, you could. Let's go to 250. Let's just bring it up. Hopefully it won't be that bad on the final output of whatever YouTube does to this thing, and we'll tone it down just a little bit right there, or you can duck it, whatever. But we'll go ahead, just for reference sake, go ahead and put it about I don't know. It's not really going to do much right here. Just saying, But we'll go ahead and boost it a little bit in there. Let's just pretend we like that tone, so that's pretty cool. And then I have a duck here, which I'll explain in just a minute. All right, because when you construct a kit, you got like you kick, you got your snare, you got your hats, and you got a lot of sounds, but you're dealing with a lot of frequencies just within your drum kit. And at certain points in your drum kit, you're going to want to cut frequencies so that the mix isn't fighting over the other frequencies. So if you got like a hat, all right, so let me explain this part right here really quick. So I ducked at about 1K, all right, but you'll notice over here on my high ends, on my hats, okay, at 1K, I keep it pretty legit on this one, all right, and at about 1K, I kind of nudge it up a little bit here, just a little bit, just a hair, and then on the next one, I just kind of leave it alone at about, yeah, I don't even touch it really. I don't even touch it at like 1K, but, and you can work it that way. And this one here, somewhere at the 1K marker, 1K, I kind of duck it here at this, probably because I have it working with this one. See here on the hats, all right, in the snare thing, all right, we got this hat and this snare, okay, this tambourine and this snare right here, for example, all right. So when you solo this one, let's solo this guy, okay, See where it's at? Hey, let's turn it on. Okay, and I duck it at around 759, or yeah, 759 hertz, and I keep it right here. So I duck it a little bit right here so that I could work my hat a little bit more over here. Right, so I'm dipping at 758 right here, and then on the hat here at around 751. Okay, so I kind of move out of this tone, or I can bring it up too. You know, this here you can almost maybe hear the difference. So a little bit of ducking, actually helps between like the different percussion. And then over here, like for here on the 6/4 beat, let's say, all right, we have the kick going at the same time, we have the tambourine going at the same time, the click, and then this snare going at the same time as well. So with this snare, let's sample the snare here really quick. All right, it's kind of a tinny snare, you know, and then with the EQ. All right, and I took out a ton of the bottom end on the snare, and some people might, you know, I mean, I went really extreme. I brought it all the way over to 250. You know, now if I wanted to make it a little bit more bodied, I'd probably bring it to about 100. Bring this into about 100, and you can't really tell so much. You can barely hear it. You can barely hear it. I'll bring that up just to right there. Okay. So like for the snare bit, this isn't a very good snare example, but on the snaring here, I have at 4K, and well, let's go to here. This part here is at 1K. So I mean, there's a lot of body in here that I didn't really want out of this snare. So I actually duck it, and we're at 1K, so between 500 hertz and 3000 hertz. We are at basically 1043 hertz here, so it's kind of right in the middle, and I actually duck it as shown in the demonstration on the chart to be ducked just a little bit, because this will provide a little bit of breathing room frequency wise for the click and the tambourine, you know. So I duck this a little bit behind these two to provide a little bit more oomph to the clap and the tambourine. So dipping out here is actually perfect. 1038 hertz. So we're kind of doing the right thing according to the chart. If you look at the chart right there, and then at 4,000 we got, let's see 4,000. I start trimming like right immediately at 4,000 or so, and not completely cutting, you know. And let's solo and play, and it's just a little clanker, you know. It's supposed to be subtle. I don't know how well you guys are going to actually be able to hear this. If we go to 4x, the 4x cut, which is fine, you know. Here's without any EQing, and you can, in with my setup, I can totally hear the difference there, and it's very massive, you know. But I actually make this little snare thing sound really kind of tinny, almost like a crunching can or something. But you can hear the full body of the EQ when it's unsnared, and it has some content in it that I don't really like, you know. So that's why I duck it out here, especially so that it can work with the other parts of what we have going on here. So this thing is very slightly glued together. It's not like a masterpiece or anything. More so, I just want to demonstrate, you know, kind of how to use the chart, and then maybe even show you a little bit on how you construct a kit and duck certain parts of it so that it doesn't get in the way of other parts. So your kick, you want to, you know, you want all the elements of your drum kit to come out a little bit, but you don't want them all taking up the same frequencies. So there's only so much real estate that you can have in a complete signal when it comes to putting these things together. So you want to make the best ranges for each one. So you want to optimize your kick, you want to optimize your snare, you want to optimize your hats, and you do that by EQing out these pieces. At least this is something that I do, and it really does work for me pretty well. So let's take a listen to the full. Well, let's listen it up again. Right there. Okay. All right. So you can kind of hear where these different trimmings are working. Pretty much, the EQ cutting, really glued this thing together, considering kind of where we started with it with no EQing. Here let's again listen to this beat without the kick EQing, and you'll notice. I don't know if you're going to be able to notice in the EQ, but it sounds that bass end is just it's blurry. It's pretty blurry, and it's part of an end that I don't really necessarily need, because a lot of the time you're going to actually layer kicks up down the road and stuff, and we'll have some tutorials on that sort of thing. Let's focus on this tutorial, which is just about reading the chart, and hopefully you kind of got an idea of why EQing out certain portions of your mix, your drum kit, is important. And the main reason why you want to look at a chart like this and reference one every once in a while is just to get you a basic idea, of how to get the best out of your drum rack by adjusting your frequencies, so that if your hats are if you got for some reason a really percussive snare, for example, well, you want to take the best elements of that snare so it presents itself well, and not so that it is actually drowned out by the kick. So you do this by emphasizing the parts of that snare that are really good in a track to work with the kick. So if the kick has a cool, if the snare has a cool tone to it that you want to emphasize, then and it's within a certain range of, say, I don't know, let's say it happens to be at around 500 hertz, okay, as like right here, right? So let's just go, oh, well, this is kind of really, really cool, and I like this tone in the snare, and it sits between 500 hertz. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and maybe leave that tone alone and then trim it down between 500 and 3000. And then you want to trim it down between 250 and 500 or so. You're going to have to find a little sweet spot right there. But you'll notice on the chart where the kick comes in. So with the chart, you go, oh, okay, that roundness is really good for the snare, but we don't need this in that area of the kick between 300 and 600 hertz. So you duck the kick. You duck the kick deliberately by EQing it, so then you get the roundness out of that snare. So that's kind of how this chart more or less works. And I mean, if you guys have any questions about the chart, feel free to ask some questions down there. Maybe even ask, leave a messages, and your guys' feedback is really important. So leave a message. If you have another topic that maybe you might want me to get into on another video, post away some questions, and I'll take a look at some of these questions, and maybe on the next video I will answer a couple of these questions and stuff. So I do hope that you find this chart handy, and it's pretty darn cool. It's really darn cool. It's just a chart, though. It's not the end-all be-all. And I'm going to make a quick plug here really quick also. So let's say we got this kind of set up in a direction, and that sounds okay, right? It sounds okay. Now we're going to turn on one of my newest product. My newest product is the DarkSocks Master Chains, and it's a 100% Ableton native mastering kit. Okay, and I just use it in a real basic sense here. Mastering and mixing down is a complicated process, but a lot of people want to do it at home, and that's what this kit is for. That's what Master Chains is for, and I'll kind of show you here really quick the differences. And it probably and you know what? It probably sounds like shit on YouTube, so I do apologize again. It sounds good on my monitors, but yeah, here. So with and without, you know. And if I wanted to make it a little bit bassier, we can, and you can mess with these dials a little bit to bring up things the way we'd like to. I'm not going to fidget with this thing too much. So, and let's go here. Ready? Here we go. Alright, well, thank you for watching the little guide on how to use the chart I made and stuff. And I'll be giving away more free stuff and everything like that over on DarkSocks.com a bit more often and everything. And, of course, I'll be rolling out more products as well. And I want to throw out there one of my first products. And the first product is a DarkSock Master Chains. And it's a mastering kit. 100% Ableton native, no plugins required or anything like that. It's really cool. It's pretty powerful. I've had some guys take a look at it already and review it and stuff, and it's credible. You know, a lot of people would say, oh, well, you can't master with Ableton. Well, yes, you can. It'll get your albums, your tracks, you know, your music production, you know, to a rate that is, you know, pretty quality. Ableton's a quality product, and I think I made something that people could definitely use. So if you're a DIY sort of guy, or maybe you just, you know, don't want to spend money on mastering and mixing down and stuff, and I know the rule. I know, I've been around for quite a while, guys. Yeah, you want other people to mix and master your music and stuff like that, but you know what? We're coming to an age where it's a little different. And a little different includes DIY. That's home mastering, producing your own stuff, good enough for use for whatever venues you might be playing, or good enough to get out to demos, or good enough to get out to whoever might be liking your music. And it just needs that extra oomph, you know. And so the DarkSock Master Chains is a really good, low budget, easy solution. And you can get more information on this product that I made, and over on DarkSock.com. There's a link down below. Again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You know, there'll be more tutorials and guides coming along. Until then, peace.